for large amounts of money to pay for housing outside the county. So, that bottleneck is really hurting our counties. And so if that's on your radar, I'd feel better about it.
It definitely is on the radar, and we've been talking to TDCJ about it, but also OCA about it. And but I mean, so this could be good news, bad news, as you were saying. And the good news is, from what I'm hearing, yes, you can expect courts to be opening back up and getting back to normal because of the decline in COVID in the state of Texas. It's time for people to get back in action, and that includes courts. And so you're going to see more trials, more appeals, et cetera, all get concluded. And that may accelerate what's coming in. Although I guess for anybody who's been arrested, they probably are already behind bars awaiting for trial anyway. And so maybe it will help in clearing them out.
Yes, we have some people who have been in jail for 1,500 days waiting for trials to happen. Because the courts have been so slow. And I'm not faulting the courts, but I'm saying it's time to get moving.
Yeah, they understand that, and they are ready to get going. Good to go? All right. Well, listen, we want to thank all of the members of law enforcement here with us today, and it includes the Director of Public Safety, Steve McCraw, and Sheriff Kleiner. Thank you for being the host, Sheriff, for this event. Today we had an event where I wanted to come to the greater Midland-Odessa region and talk to local law enforcement and especially the sheriffs in this region to find out the challenges that they are facing as a result of the open border policies of the Biden administration that has led to unprecedented amounts of immigration, illegal immigration, coming across the border. I first was able to let them know exactly what the state of Texas is doing to deal with the Biden open border policies. We are now deploying more than 7,500 patrol officers, whether it be DPS or National Guard members, to the border, where we are providing more manpower than ever before to secure our borders and especially getting ready for the caravans that may be coming toward our border. They are laying down razor wire to prevent people from coming across the border. They are putting down these massive containers that you see on container ships or 18-wheelers to create a blockade stopping people from coming across the border. They're using every tool and strategy they possibly can to ensure that Texas is not going to be a crossing place for those coming across the border. If, however, people do cross the border into the state of Texas, they need to understand they're going to be dealing with the criminal justice system. Because of the action that we've taken under my executive order, we are now making arrests of people who are coming across the border trespassing in Texas, and they can serve enhanced time in jail for criminal trespass or for vandalism, different crimes like that, that we are now prosecuting and putting these people behind bars. If they're coming to cross the border illegally into the state of Texas, they have picked the wrong state to come into. While at the same time we're doing all of that, we're also beginning the process of building the border wall. The funding is there. All the paperwork has been completed, and we expect construction to begin very soon. And we expect some of the border wall to be up before the end of this calendar year, meaning within 2 months' time period, and they will continue to work very aggressively to complete that border wall. We also have made it easier for prosecutors to both arrest and prosecute the crime of smuggling. Smuggling is an enormous problem of people, of drugs, of contraband, all kinds of things. And we want to put these people behind bars, and we've given prosecutors the tools they need to crack down on smugglers. I signed 9 laws to crack down on the heinous crime of human trafficking, and we created a new law in the state of Texas that makes it a felony for anybody to either manufacture or to distribute the deadly drug of fentanyl in the state of Texas. In talking to the sheriffs around the table, one issue that all of them raised, all of them were in agreement with, and that is they are seeing an increase in drug-related crime. It could be an increase in fentanyl, which is that deadly drug. It could be methamphetamine. It could be cocaine or heroin. All of them are seeing it, and it's a consequence of the Biden open border policies that allow so many people across our border who are bringing these dangerous and deadly drugs into our state. What we are doing as a state is working on ways to provide these law enforcement officers with the tools and strategies they need to be able to combat any type of crime they're facing as a result of people coming across the border illegally. Now I'm going to turn it over to Director Steve McCraw, the Director of the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Yes, sir. Well, Governor, I want to echo what the sheriff said not long ago, and chiefs of police, is thank you for your leadership and protecting Texans and to supporting law enforcement. It means a lot, and thank you very much. Clearly, this is unprecedented times we've talked about. We've never seen the types of numbers that we're seeing today. And bottom line, we're experiencing a global mass migration event that's overwhelmed Border Patrol and left gates and gaps and holes that allowed them to move cartel operatives, cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, fentanyl, even marijuana continues to come in, transnational gang members in terms of MS-18, MS-13 keep coming through, and they're also pushing through. These individuals have been previously convicted and deported of felony crimes, and deported to other countries and come back. We're catching them coming back into the United States. All those things are together constitute the most significant public safety threat that we're seeing in our cities and communities, as the chiefs and sheriffs have talked about, and certainly Homeland Security as well. And finally, we're in a position, and we're thankful for our federal partners. They do a great job, but they have not received the support they need to be proactive. And finally, Texas is in a position, thanks to the governor and his leadership and the legislature, that we've got resources now to be able to actually do all three parts of border security, actually all four, including doctrine. And that's barriers. You have to have barriers on the river, bottom line, if you're going to be proactive. Two, you have to be in a position to have resources to respond, and you got to leverage technology to detect intrusions when it happens, and there's got to be consequences, which is a part of doctrine. When people cross into Texas land on a person's property, they criminally trespass, or they're involved in vandalism, you've made it possible for us to do for the first time ever is to be able to arrest those individuals, which I know landowners down there much appreciated, Governor, to be able to do it. And in doing, it makes it safer for the communities in West Texas and all of Texas, and really for the nation, because as the border goes, so goes the state, so goes the nation. And thank you, Governor.
Thank you. And now, Midland County Sheriff Kreiner.
I want to echo what Colonel McGraw just said, as well as everybody here in this room. We have the same goal and same mission. And that is that we're going to secure our border, whatever it takes to do that. And I thank you for the initiative you've shown towards us, the information you shared with us that's going on, and we're here to support you 100%. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Sheriff. We'll take a few questions.
Governor, what are the odds of there being a fourth special session?
Listen, the special session can happen anytime. Our job right now is to focus on making sure we secure the border and get the border secure as possible for the caravans that are coming through Mexico, to make sure the caravans realize that Texas is the wrong place to come to. Yes.
Tell us, what role does local law enforcement play when there is such a crisis on the border?
Yeah, so local law enforcement plays a vital role in helping us deal with the consequences of Biden's open border policies. The local law enforcement in the border counties themselves, they are on the front lines of having to deal with the waves of people coming into the United States, into the state of Texas, and Texas partners with local law enforcement officials in those counties. We wanted to be here in Midland understanding that the challenges that we see in the border, they don't stay in the border, they creep inland into the state of Texas. And we wanted to be here in the vanguard working with these local officials here to make sure they know they have a partner in the state of Texas and that we can use with them the same strategies that are proving to be effective on the border to make sure they are going to be able to continue to keep their community safe. Go ahead.
Governor, Rob Sugates, Fix News. You said part of today's roundtable is providing law enforcement the tools they need to implement those strategies. What's it going to take to do that?
the real thing it took was the $3 billion that we appropriated to provide those resources. Now, part of those resources is the razor wire that we're laying down. Part of the resources are these big containers that we're putting down that create a barrier that people cannot cross into the state of Texas. Part of it is the human law enforcement resources, whether it be Texas DPS or the National Guard, who are authorized to enforce laws and arrest people in Texas. By having those human resources on the border itself, the goal is to make sure that people crossing the border don't even make it into communities like Midland County to begin with. But also the resources is the state of Texas opening thousands of new jail beds that are now available for county sheriffs who make arrests, to have the people they arrest who are prosecuted have a bed for them in jail, so that Texas makes sure that we're sending the message that if people cross the border into the state of Texas, they're going to be arrested and they're going to be jailed.